So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to our Sun-Mars conjunction in the fourth house, which is our planetary conjunction through houses series. And if you do not know, if you have this particular conjunction, what sign it's in, what nakshatra it's in, all the other astrological details, check out the links here, check out my full astrological report, including my books, consultations, and link to my academy, Vedic Astrology Academy, where I'm currently teaching planets through nakshatras and into nakshatras, along with everything else in Vedic astrology. And I now also have on my report Bija and Kesha Saputa. So for children, Bija Saputa is for male, Kesha Saputa is for female, and to see, where they should be placed. I don't want to go details into it. But if you have read about it and you want to know where it's placed in your chart, now my report gives that. But please note, if you have gotten a report before, I'm not going to resend all those reports. I'm going to be sending it out for the next 10 years. Because it just happened last week. I was pretty much surprised by my developer, to have that point. So anyway, let's start with this particular conjunction. So fourth house. What is a fourth house? Fourth house represents our comfort and happiness. Number one. It represents our mother. It's the house of the mother. We always, majority of our life, live in the house of the mother. While some people, sure, they could be orphans, they could be adopted, but I'm talking about like majority of the world lives under the umbrella of their mother. And through mother, we receive happiness most of the time. We miss our mother when she goes to the market. We cry. When she comes back, we're just happy to have her in the same dwelling, whether she bought any toys for her or not. And fourth house, besides the home of the mother, represents the home, land, real estate. It also represents vehicles. Okay. And at the same time, fourth house represents our establishment of family. Meaning, we establishing our own family after marriage. So here you have Sun and Mars sitting. So the first thing we look at is how are Sun and Mars together? Well, they're best friends. It's like soldier and a king walking together. They're going to love each other's company because one is like, wow, I have protection. Somebody who'll die for me. And the other person's like, wow, I'm with the person who I want to die for. So that's the first thing we see. And the next thing we see is their kark avastha. Their tattva, actually. And their tattva is hot. Agni tattva. While one is sattvic, one is tamasic. So, seeing these things, the first thing we see is that there's going to be this duality in the relationship with the mother. And this can really be seen once we see the Lord placement of both of these planets and the sign and nakshatra placement of both of these planets, which can either completely destroy the relationship with the mother. One will always have opposition to the mother and her opinion. One will always feel attacked by the mother. Or one will die for their mother. One feels like my pride, my sense of belonging in this world, my confidence has come through the mother. But it's never a middle ground. They're always on the end of opposition or or on the other side of the spectrum of friendship and that dying for the mother type scenario. But one thing we see with this particular placement is that you are born or you're coming from a royal lineage in this life. You were born in a royal lineage in your previous life, and in this life you're going to reap the results of that. So what it shows is, especially after the age of 28, you will have many powerful people coming in your home. And usually people, when they think of powerful people, they think of like politicians and celebrities or CEOs. But there are people in every area who are quite influential and powerful. So you will get somebody, let's say, somebody who's a social media personality. They have, let's say, millions of followers. And you know them and they come to your house. It's the same situation. Somebody who's, let's say, a head of the temple. They come to your home. You get to know them. And one of the things we see is that especially through sources of government, some assistance from government, you will be attaining your property, land, real estate in your life. And the other thing we see is that one's career flourishes immensely, but only after 28. Till 28, they go through all kinds of ups and downs, ups and downs, ups and downs. But after 28, they gain their ability to fight through those obstacles and gain their power and royal status. And obviously, because these two planets are directly looking at the 10th house. Now, one thing you understand, why am I saying this? Because both of these planets are without directional strength. Meaning the soul and the valor, the soul and the courage have no direction till after 28. They feel like, what am I supposed to be doing? They feel like, what is my soul's path? Why am I here? Should I be studying this? And especially when it comes to studying, one thing I've seen, even though 5th house is a house of education, with the 4th house Sun and Mars, I've seen a lot of people go into civil engineering. Especially like places like India and some of the European countries. I don't know, just my own analysis when I've done readings, like people are into either architecture or urban planning, civil engineering. And the other thing we also see is that a person will also be interested in fighting for the people of the homeland. They want to go into like being an IS officer, police officer, kind of like, what do you call in India? MLA? Like some kind of a senator? Because the thing is, they want to take care of the people. Their heart and soul is about being the king who needs to protect the people. And one thing you will see with this particular placement is that before 28, you will have many enemies and they will win over you. They will defeat you. After 28, you start winning victories over them. Before 28, you will get into massive debts. After 28, you'll start taking care of those debts. And even one of the things we see is that mother will deal with a lot of fever. Because if you look at the tattva of these planets, they're hot. And fever is hot. So mother tends to deal with a lot of fever. Especially you will see either 4 days after you were born or 4 years after you were born, mother would have had a fever. Really strong fever. And the other thing we see that obviously this is going to cause issues in the marriage as well. Actually, these planets can be exalted, debilitated in their own sign or not. They will cause issues and fights and rift in the marriage because this is your placement. If you're watching this, you're going to want to take control of the marriage and the things that happens in the marriage, whether it's joint bank accounts, whether it's dealing with investments, dealing with how to raise the children. You're going to first want to put your control. And the other person, they're also free soul like you. And they're like, what about my opinion? What about my needs in the marriage? And there will always be complaint about my needs. You will see that word come about with this conjunction. Like, you never look at my needs. What about my needs? What about my wants? You never look at my happiness. You always want to do what you want. And it's only with Sun and Mars together. At the same time, a person does very well in foreign lands, gets a lot of respect and fame in a foreign country. And usually such people are extremely brave. They're not even afraid of the dark. They'll go in the dark and they'll be like, okay, what do you want me to do? Sleep here all night? Fine, I'll see you in the morning. The only time you will not see a person doing this is if moon is in the third house from your birth lagna, Arudha lagna, or Karakamsha lagna. Then the person will have fear of the dark. Oh gosh. Now what happened? I don't know if you guys heard my daughter crying. I'm pretty sure the other daughter took the other daughter's toy, because I saw her run into the room. So I'm sure she's now crying to go complain to the mom about stealing the toy. I don't know if there's an omen here. Perhaps it's an omen that a person will cry for either the mother or some lost object. Maybe that's an omen. See, when these things happen, they're relating to this particular video that I'm making. So you need to understand that. And one thing we also see is that major karma with the elder sibling. You will have a major fight with the elder sibling where, especially for either 8 months or 8 days, you will not talk to them. It would have happened. I believe I was looking at the chart of Benazir Bhutto, the late Benazir Bhutto, the Prime Minister of Pakistan. And this was like 3-4 years ago. And I was looking at her chart, and I believe she had something similar. And she fought with one of her brothers over a ketchup and didn't speak to him for 1 year. So I don't know, maybe I need to look at that chart again, but that story just came into my brain because I was trying to study her chart a while back. Actually, right when she was assassinated, I wanted to see what happened. So that was a curiosity. And one thing we also see is that as such a person most likely will reject the land of their either parents or ancestors, but they will get their own land. They will get their own land. Now, again, this is something that really depends upon the sign. So I shouldn't really even say that that's what's going to happen, but with certain sign placement, I've seen this. I don't know. I haven't had too many people with Sun and Mars in the 4th house, but I've had them. So whenever I see certain conjunctions, I always like to know certain things that I've learned that, hey, did this happen, that happened? So through certain confirmation, you see these things happening. But remember, your Bhagya Uday, meaning the rise of luck, will happen after 28. Nothing before 28, quite a bit of struggles will happen. Okay? So anyway, guys, this was my analysis of Sun-Mars conjunction in the 4th house. If you're new to my channel, subscribe below, so this way you don't miss these type of videos, and hit the bell button so you get the notification when my pretty face has uploaded the video. And if you want to know more about your chart, consultations, books, check out the links here in the shop section. Otherwise, we'll see you tomorrow.